like Dale, we knew it was coming, but we didn't know when, you know. And it's tough. The toughest part about the whole deal is sitting over at hospice. And I was told by a nurse he could hear me,
Yeah.
but he couldn't talk.
Yeah.
And so I told war stories.
Yeah.
And, you know, and Donna and Rex and Barbara and
Yeah.
the good times we've all had. And it was tough.
It was tough. Let me tell you what happened to me. When I knew he could hear, when I thought that he could hear, and I kind of wanted to say something to him that would mean something to him. So I kind of leaned over, and his son was here, and his daughter was on the other side of the bed, and I said, "Carl, we just want you to know that you've been a tremendous person in the Miami Valley, and not only do I love you like a brother, but everybody in the Miami Valley, it seems, has a story to tell about you and loves you in so many ways. I just want you to know that you really are loved and appreciated." And we looked over, and his head went to the sort of tip to the right, and a single tear formed in his right eye and dripped down on the pillow. And his daughter, Holly, said, that's Dad's way of letting us know that he heard you. And he's thanking you for your kind words. But it was the most touching thing. It brought tears to my eyes.
I was going to say, you had tears running down your cheek, too.
Yeah, it was
You know,
rough.
Let's go back to Carl the man. He was
None like him.
Mr. Cool as a reporter.
Yeah.
Easy to film. Always knew what he wanted. No problem. You know, he'd wing right on through it. And that's, you know. And then if you called in a story, he wasn't out there. When you came in and he did it that night, it was as if he wrote it right off the phone. He would take care of us behind the camera. And he was, as a talent, a reporter, he was Mr. Cool.
He was just fast on his feet. He was fast thinking. He could take a story. He could go on the air with just the smallest details and take those details and develop it into a story that you think had been written by a squad of award-winning writers. He just had that ability to come out of nowhere with a wonderful story. And at the same time, what impresses me and always will impress me about Mr. Day was that he didn't know the word no.
No.
No matter what you ask him to come MC, or no matter what you ask him to come and speak at your group, or to, whether it was just a small, one little family, or whether it was a room full of 15,000 people, he would always be there. And at any event that you and I shared in our families, any of our troubles that we've had over the years, we could always count on him.
And good times we had.
Oh, and the wonderful times. What a sense of humor he had, and so much fun, and he's going to be missed so much by so many.
He's a mentor to many of us, as far as writing, as far as doing the story, and waltz in, do it. Before you know it, he was done and gone, and you were on to the next story. He was
something you said got me, that we all knew that when they had to move him over to hospice, what was inevitable. But yet at the same time, it wasn't until Holly called me this afternoon and said, "My dad has died," that it really kicked me right in the gut, right in the heart. And I doubled over and started crying. Because you think and you feel that Carl was infallible. He had beaten leukemia 4 times in a row, and this was his 5th time. And this was the time that the good Lord said, "Carl, you're knocking on the door. Come on in, you're welcome. You can finally be here with Donna."
And you were under the knife yourself at some point, so...
Yeah.
And you know, you're no stranger.
No, I went through a lot of that, but no one, believe me, I have never heard of a person that underwent surgery like he did. 6-hour surgery, 2 physicians, work taking out major organs, and it's just a miracle that he was even able to survive the surgery. But yet, with his fortitude, he stayed on for a good week and a half after the surgery, and he always came home before. This time he's not coming home.
You're doing this story for the paper.
Yeah, I'm going to do this column tomorrow with a lot of this stuff in it.
And where do you start? How do you start?
It's hard. It's difficult.
Well, I know it is, but where'd you start it?
I can't remember. Let me look and see. I got a copy of my story right here. I just started talking.
Well, you know,
I just said, those of us who have been close friends to the broadcaster Carl Day were braced and expecting the awful news, but it hit like a punch in the heart when we found out. And then I go on to talk about our years together. And one thing I shared is that I think that this time Carl kind of felt that maybe it might be the time that he was going to not make it, because he went on a trip the week before his death, and he went to see all of his grandkids, and he visited down south, and his son went with him, and they went to B.B. King's restaurant, and they went to see the Graceland, and they had a wonderful time, and his son said they laughed, and they sang, and they joked, and it was just a wonderful time. And he sort of settled things with everybody, and I think he kind of knew that this was a goodbye. And when he came back, he wanted to have a meal with us all.
Planned. It looks like he knew.
It looked like it looked like God had told him, Carl, we're finally going to let you in that door.
So
be with Donna.
Well,
his true love.
Carl is still going to be around for a long, long time with all the examples he set.
Yeah, and the good thing is that Holly and Bart, his kids, both tell me that there are big plans for Carl Day Foundation, and they're going to announce it when they're able to get the services together, and that all the people who love him will be able to support this foundation, which will help young people who are wanting to get into the field of broadcasting. So he'll be living on that way, and among many other ways. He'll be living on with